After Taylor's wedding plea, Travis Kelce was absolutely stunned. In Malibu, a brisk spring morning, the sun kissed the waves just enough to glitter like sequins strewn over a runway. Trav Kelce rolled over in bed, his eyes adjusting to the light flooding in from the open beachside mansion curtains. There were more than 320 unread messages. Yawned, rubbed the sleep from his eyes, and reached automatically for his phone. Uh-oh. His heart thudded not from any fear, but from his instincts, finally tuned after months of dating the most potent pop star on the planet firing sirens. Something has transpired. He tapped open his brother Jason's first message. "Bro, did you see what Taylor just did?" One from his mother then. "Call me right now, I meant it." A few Instagram alerts, his agent, his PR manager, SPN, TMZ. But it was one viral clip that made his mind whirl into anarchy and his jaw slacken. The video? The screen opened to a brilliant whoo! In the middle of her sold-out last concert in Paris, Taylor Swift was perfect and brilliant. All night, the 70,000-person gathering had been electric. They had screamed her songs back with religious fervor, cheered, wept, and laughed. Then the lights darkened to a soft lavender as the last chords of Enchanted vanished, and a hush fell. Taylor moved to the mic. She grinned in a way that had melted millions of hearts. "So I have one last thing to say tonight," she said, her voice quivering just barely. "There's someone in my life who has changed me in ways I didn't know were possible. Someone who sees me, understands me, and cheers for me louder than anyone else." Travis, if you are viewing this, the camera zipped in on her face. She was striving not to cry. "Married to me." Trav sat in shocked silence as the phone dropped from his hand, thunk on the hardwood floor. Taylor had been dropping hints, casual at first. A Pinterest board here, a cryptic lyric scribbled on a napkin here, the kind of tension that settles between two people when one wants something desperately and the other doesn't quite know how to say no, but isn't ready to say yes either. What 1 week earlier had been tense, then came the less obvious things. Over dinner, he introduced him to Bridal Vogue's editor, whispered, "I think you would make a hot groom," as they slow danced to Norah Jones in her Tribeca loft. True, he loved her really, but he was still recovering from the whirl of the last year's Super Bowl glory endorsement deals, paparazzi camping outside his gym, and being thrown headfirst into Swiftie Nation. The word husband felt like a suit 2 sizes too big. He wasn't ready, but Taylor had always been a force of nature. When she wanted something, the world bent time, bent people, and apparently proposals bent too. Trav sat on the rear patio, shirtless today, clutching a protein shake he hadn't touched in 30 minutes. She was naked. Though his brain screamed in spirals, the ocean murmured far away. His phone belled. "Are you alive?" Jason's voice shot through. "Bro!" Swift is the top trending topic on Earth. Kelce's suggestion comes from 30 million tweets. Mom's praying. Dad's confused. What the bloody hell is happening? Trav watched a seagull fly past. He didn't reply straight away. At last. I believe she just proposed to me. Live on TV before half the Earth. Jason whistled. Sure, that tracks. Taylor was alone in her dressing room in Paris, meanwhile. Her bones still resonated with the energy of the throng, but now the adrenaline had subsided, she felt a knot in her chest. Had she gone too far? Before, she had been impulsive, writing albums in 48 hours, purchasing a Rhode Island mansion on a whim, that whole thing with Joe Alwyn, but this was significant. Long enough to know that celebrity hadn't cracked Travis's core, she had been in love with him for a long time now. She misread him. But he was still that dumb, golden-hearted Midwesterner playing board games with her dad and crying at the notebook. Her assistant knocked Travis off the line with a call. Trav had a subdued voice. "Hey." Taylor's heart grabbed hold of her. "Hey," she answered. A pause that felt both awkward and electric. "You saw it?" she asked, whirling the cord around her earbuds. He laughed that deep, warm laugh that melted her insides and also kind of hated him a little for not being more shook. "Oh, I saw it, and I'm completely dumbfounded," he said with a chuckle that couldn't decide if it was nervous or proud. "You truly proposed to me before the whole damned planet?" She silenced herself. He exhaled. "Hey, you are loved, like truly loved you. I believe you already know that I do. But marriage? I must ascend that mountain, not just because a million people are chanting, 'Say yes to me' on TikHub." Though her heart sank, Taylor kept going. "Should I do it someday, it would absolutely be you. Her eyes welled. That sounds like a maybe. Someday it is, he said gently, but not a never. I just needed to come from me. Not from a stadium. 2 weeks later, the internet had no idea what to interpret of the silence. Did their breakup follow any patterns? Was this simply Taylor acting theatrically once more? Was Trav terrified? Then, without a press release or a tweet, Taylor uploaded one picture to Instagram on a hapless Thursday at random. They were playing Scrabble on the floor of her apartment, sweats on. "Real love doesn't need a ring," the caption said. Still, the post attracted 23 million likes. Trav reposted it completely stunned, captioned his own. "Still here and somewhere in Paris, a girl carrying a guitar whispered to her mirror one day, 'He will ask and I will say yes,' under the name Trav." Utterly shocked. Following TA's wedding plea, the Kansas City summer sun burned over Arrowhead Stadium as Travis Kelce jogged off the field, sweat glistening down his chiseled form. Fans yelled, but his thoughts were not on football today. No. Today, something else had thrown off. A late-night FaceTime call from Taylor Swift the night before. The pop icon who had glittered his cleats and love songs to his locker room had said 7 words that now echoed louder than the crowd ever could. Travis. She hadn't said it in a dreamy, hypothetical manner, "Thus, I believe we should get married." "No," she had said with her trademark mix of confidence and stardust, eyes fixed on the screen, voice soft but steady like it were the chorus of her next chart-topping single now. Travis was completely stunned. It had begun like any other romance between 2 megastars. Chance encounters, covert meetings, opposites in the best sense, paparazzi dodging escapades across New York and Paris. She was grace and poetic anarchy. He was swagger and strategic anarchy. Still, their puzzle elements fit somehow. Holidays were when they were inseparable. At a secret Thanksgiving dinner in Nashville, Travis met her parents. For Christmas, Taylor flew to Kansas City and baked cookies for his colleagues, who were too starstruck to eat them yet. Travis wasn't scared of commitment. He'd been in relationships before, but marriage meant headlines. Prenums, kids, private islands, a ring likely to get its own documentary, and he hadn't even thought about which of her cats he liked best that night. Shirtless and disoriented, Travis walked his penthouse apartment with his brother. "Jason texted once and called twice, buddy. Taylor just dropped a proposal on your desk. He hadn't answered because he didn't know what the response ought to be, not because he didn't want to." His doorbell sounded out of nowhere. When Travis opened the door, Taylor was standing in joggers and a hoodie, without makeup, without entourage. Just her. "Hello," she remarked. "I would like to come in." He moved aside, heart thumping like the bass line and ready for it. She passed him into the living room, glanced at the half-empty pizza box and unopened bourbon bottle on the coffee table, then sank down. She said gently, "Freaking you out? Not sure what I did." Travis exhaled. Yes, a little." She wore a sad sort of smile. It had not been intended as pressure, only, "I've had the tours, the Grammys, and the X's, the drama. I have been the girl covering heartbreak in her work. Writing about heartbreak wears me out." He curled up next to her. "I see forever in you. I want to write about a lifetime." Quiet, just the two of them and the weight of the moment. He added, "I'm not even sure how to be married. To tell the truth, neither do I," she said, nudging his shoulder. "But I believe we could work it out. It doesn't have to be tomorrow or next month. Just wondering whether you also see it." He stared at her. Really, past the celebrity and the fan following, past the red carpets and practices, he saw the girl in the shower singing off-key in her jersey to bed, who made grilled cheese at 2:00 a.m. using far too much butter. He saw Taylor. And damned it. Maybe he saw forever, but before he could say anything, she pulled something folded from her pocket. She asked me when I started writing. "This is simply how I feel. It is not a song." She stood then and handed it to him. She said, "I am going to give you space. When you are ready, read it. I will be near the car." Not too long, and she was gone, with that. He didn't open the letter right away. He sat there for hours, surfing their old pictures, watching clips of her performing with that wild energy only she possessed, considering how this woman, with stadium in the palm of her hand, was now offering him her heart at midnight. He'd said the letter. It said, "Trav with you, I feel like I'm finally living in the verse that never needed a rhyme." Most of my life, I'm crafting stories with bridges and choruses, where the happy ending always felt like a fairy tale, distant, maybe even delusional. You make me chuckle, louder, love tougher, and dream bigger. I just need you. Maybe one day a slow dance in our kitchen, love. I have no need for a castle or a ceremony. Tayless then Travis back off. Tears, not expected, stinging his eyes. He got his keys. 30 minutes later, he stood at the car. He called her rather than knocked. She opened the door carrying a pint of ice cream, one of his old hoodies, eyes swollen like she had been crying too. He drew her into his arms permanently, without words. He said, "Yeah, I see it too." Whispering, though the wedding did not take place that year or the next, that event became their starting point. Not a headline, not a spectacle. Just two people stunned by love, choosing to walk into the future together. Totally dumbfounded, unquestionably in love. Do you want a second narrative? Perhaps their hidden participation, or the way the world learned of it.